Hi guys, this is Yuru. So this PowerPoint slide is a brief introduction to the trading workstation system. So I mainly experience the interface and have a little bit of trading ideas. There are two major asset classes. So the first one is stock and the second one is bonds. So for bonds, there's obviously less risk, and I can receive the coupon payments for specific time periods. Also, because I bought tips, then I have the protection against inflation. So for the stocks, it's possible that I can receive the dividend income if the company makes profits, and there's potential for higher return. Also, it means partial ownership of the company. And the third is a big reason for me because like for publicly listed company, they have to enclose their financial statements and other things for the investors to consider. So there's much higher transparency. So those are a list of trades. So for stocks, I bought stocks like in pharmaceutical companies and biotechnology companies. I also bought stocks for Bath and Body Works, which is a kind of like commodity company that sells like fragrance and body soap, things like that. I also have stocks from Netflix, which is my favorite one. And for the bonds, I have Vanguard Total Bond Market. I also have bonds that is for like metaverse technology, and I have TIP. So those are three major strategies I used. So the first one I would consider is the company's news, because no matter it is like positive news or negative news, it might affect the company's prospects and profitability. So some example of positive news would be like new products launches, some R&D breakthroughs, and some bad news there might be like regulatory issues and management problems. And for the charts, I will mainly look at like line charts of the closing prices and the moving average charts for the stocks. Also for bonds, I will mainly look at the yield curves and the price yield curves. And I would also like dive into the analysis of trends in different sectors. So I would be like considering like what kind of sectors are people currently excited about, but just like be careful with the hype. So for example, I would say the artificial intelligence sector could be a hype recently. So those are several graphs of the closing prices of the stocks and bonds I bought. So for example, like for the Bath and Body Works, I bought their stocks because I could see that this company have consistent launches of the new categories that significantly drive the sales. Also, it can market shares in fragrance, body, and soap, which are the three primary product categories. And for the biological, biotechnological, and pharmaceutical companies, they might have like FDA-approved treatments for some of the disorders in adults, and they like consistently innovating in drugs targeted on the major disorder and try to solve people's unmet needs. And for Netflix, I believe you all heard about Netflix. It has a very valuable global trend, and it has been like cracking down on the password sharing. And it has a massive user base and stable growth. And for some of the bonds I bought, they might be exposed to like potential growth of some of the sectors like metaverse. Also, it might be like protects investors from inflation. Also, they might have like high trading volumes. So those are the reasons I bought them. So what are the approximate returns? So because for the individual returns, it might be the selling price minus the buying price and divided by the buying price. It's really simple. And I actually bought exactly the same shares for each of the individual assets. And I could say the approximate return would be around like 2%. So for some stocks, I initially bought for for the long-term investments. So for example, for some of the biotech and pharmaceutical companies, they're still in the R&D process and already have some innovative accomplishments. So I believe once they have passed the trials and launched their products to the markets, their valuation will increase a lot. So I mean, like in the long term, I believe my approximate return would be higher, much higher than 2%. So what are the potential risks and plans? So for the risks, I would say like different countries might have different censorship rules. So for example, for some of the episodes in Netflix, they might encounter some censorship problems in countries like China. Also, products may not pass the clinical trials or get the FDA approval. So that's one of the main concerns for some of the biotech and pharmaceutical companies. Also, there might be stringent regulatory requirements. So for example, like for drugs and other products, they might have like much more stringent regulatory issues. So for the plans, I would say I need to hold more diverse a set of assets to kind of like distribute the risks. Also, I can use option to hedge against the potential losses. And obviously be informed about the company's news and events. So like I said, those could affect a company's prospects and profitability. So that would be the end of my presentation. Thanks so much.